Super
That's
here.
interesting.
Yes.
That's just like,
Right, Director Stickney?
in,
All
I
right, we're ready. Everybody
used to
ready?
go there if you want to go, is Alaska. It's fantastic.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and call the Orangevale Recreation Park District Board of Directors meeting for Thursday, December 9th. It's a regular meeting, and I'm going to call it 6:34. The Board of Directors may take up any agenda item at any time regardless of order listed. Action may be taken on any item on the agenda. Roll call.
Swenson, present. Stickney,
Present.
Mraz,
Present?
Brumberg is absent. Montez,
Present?
all right. And then we have Barry Ross,
Present?
Jennifer Von Ash,
Here.
Horacio Oropeza,
Present.
and Jason Bain,
Present.
and Melissa Woodford.
Present.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, can I get approval of the agenda as written?
I move we approve the agenda as written.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Let's go ahead and vote on it.
Swenson, yes. Stickney?
Yes.
Mraz?
Yes.
Brumberg? Oh, sorry. Montez?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, we could have just, well, whatever. Any person may address the board upon any subject within the jurisdiction of the Orangevale Recreation Park District, with each speaker being limited to 3 minutes. However, the chairperson can impose reasonable limitation to a maximum time per person and per agenda item to allow the board to complete its business. Any matter that requires action will be referred to staff or committee for report and action at a subsequent meeting. Okay, and anybody wish to speak?
We have guests tonight, and they're here for agenda item 13A.
13.
So I was hoping we could move that up on the agenda. It's regarding the
Sure,
cycle
well,
costs.
let's go through a few of these
Sure.
things, and
Yep.
we don't have anybody else.
Do we have any guests on Zoom?
All right, so we'll do some of the mundane stuff, and we'll put you on first after we get a few of the things. Approval of minutes from special meeting, 6A.
We approve special meeting minutes as presented.
I'll second that. That's the October 7th meeting, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
All right, do you have a motion and a second? Any corrections or comments?
No.
No, then we'll go ahead and vote.
Stickney?
Yes.
Oh, Montez, I have it written that you were absent on that special meeting.
That's fine, but well,
Oh,
So can you still vote on it?
Now, you're absent on the 14th, I believe.
I was, yeah.
In the note, in the minutes, then I think it said
Okay,
that
hold
she
on.
was absent, unless I wrote it down wrong.
Okay. Oh, it says,
that's
Did I write it down wrong?
No, it's on the 7th.
Actually,
It
it's-
says,
It says
It says you're
October
absent.
7th, Montez was absent.
oh,
Well,
that's
I can still make a motion.
oh, yeah, no, you
You
can
can
do
still
that
vote.
part, just.
Yes,
you-
I just will abstain from the vote.
Right.
Okay, got it. All right. Sorry about that. Stickney?
Aye.
All right. Mraz?
Yes.
Brunberg is,
Zach.
sorry, absent. Montez?
I abstain.
Abstain. And Swenson, yes.
I was on the 14th.
Okay, so
That's
we have a quorum,
3-0 with one
Vegas.
abstention.
and there is a quorum for that
Oh.
vote.
Yeah, okay, then we're going to go with 6B, approval of the minutes of the 14th.
That we don't have a quorum because Stickney and Swenson were absent for that.
We'll
right?
table that.
Okay, we'll put that on, can you put that on for the next meeting?
yes.
That's right, you were in Vegas and I was in
That's
Grand
right.
Canyon.
That's right.
All right.
I can vote twice.
All right, so we'll table, that'll be, put that on the next month's meeting.
Yes, sir.
All right, correspondence,
Yeah, the first item was the article that was in the Sacramento Bee, fantastic article on Orangevale, had to do primarily with the real estate market, but It talked highly of our parks and the programs that we offer, and some nice photos as well.
Yeah, most of the photos were from our park.
They were.
In various places.
Yeah, so I thought that was flattering. So happy
Yeah.
to share that. The second item was our advertisements from the Orangevale View. Excellent ads, promoting primarily our winter programs and special events. And then there was also a nice article in there regarding the tree lighting event, the upcoming tree lighting event, which has since happened.
Well, let's take any comments about the tree line until you're part of the report. Though I think it went off fairly well.
Yeah, we can wait on that. And then the final correspondence was a nice email that we received from a parent complimenting one of our coaches, and Andrew Gross, on how he coaches a team, gives everybody equal playing time, and how much success they had, where not all teams did it that way. So it was flattering.
And the
I
court,
don't have any correspondence
from the attorney.
from the attorney. I have not seen that.
Right.
So maybe we can,
let's
we can keep moving forward and come back to that?
Yeah, we'll come back to that
okay.
one.
Great,
Let's
thank
move
you.
along, and then we can have him, and then we'll put
Uh-huh.
that in after we have the
The consent
13A.
calendar. Okay.
Thank you.
Let's do the consent items. Would anybody like anything pulled? Or any, I asked Barry a couple of questions, and he answered them.
I move that I motion to approve the consent items as presented, items 8 through 8.5, I believe,
Right.
8.3.
8.3B, right?
B.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
All right, so we have a motion, a second. Any further comments or questions? Then we will vote.
All right, Mraz,
Yes.
Montez,
Yes?
Swenson, yes, Stickney.
Yes.
All right,
Okay, then we have the non-consent items. Can I get,
I move we approve the non-consent items
and I'll second that.
9A and B.
Yeah. Any questions or comments? Then we'll go ahead and vote.
Montez,
I abstain.
Swenson, yes, Stickney,
Yes.
Mraz.
Yes.
All right, 3-0 with one abstention.
Okay, let's, I'm going to jump down to 13A right now. We'll come back to the confidential letter, and then, so
All right.
you want to take this, or you want?
Yeah, I want to introduce Jennifer and Clint Clausen and their 7-year-old. I'm sorry, your son's name again? This is Logan. Logan. And
Welcome.
they're with Clifton Racing, and they're the ones that put on the cyclocross event on October 24th at Orangevale Community Park. And we have a staff, they're here to answer questions if there's any questions that are directed there, or to clarify anything that we may have questions about. The event on the 24th...
Do you want to say anything now, or are you just here to clarify anything?
and it-
I don't have anything to present at the moment, so.
All right, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so Director Stickney called me the day of the event, and he left a message out of concern that the event was going on during the big storm. And I went and checked the park out the next day, and it was a shock to see the condition of the park. And right away, later that day, I did get a call from Clint, expressing concern as well, and wanting to, make things right and come out and do some work on the park to correct it. And so we did meet out at the park that afternoon with him and his landscape contractor, and we walked the park and we talked about what can be done to remedy the damage. So what happened was, there were parts of the park that were turf. They did not use any of the rentable facilities, the soccer fields in particular. But they rode along a lot of the park that was turf area. And Normally, whenever they've done this in the past, it hadn't been raining, and there weren't new paths created. And so they were wide, 12-foot wide areas of mud, basically mud paths, that were created on some of our turf areas. The existing paths through some of the nature areas were normally about, 3 to 6 feet wide. A lot of them now were, 4 to 8 feet wide. And then there were some new trails that were created as part of their course that, of course, created new pathways that weren't there before. So we went through all that with them. There was some trenching that was done to help relieve some of the water, the puddling. We talked about tamping down the tracks that were made so those wouldn't harden and create some tripping hazards and ruts. And then there was, we also talked about plans for them to come in and do some dethatching, reseeding, so the grass would come back in those areas where the grass was removed. So over the course of the next roughly 8 to 10 days, all those things were done. We were waiting for the parks to dry to the point where they could get the machine on there to dethatch. And then they reseeded. They put hay in the areas where the new trails were created to kind of disguise those as new trails so they wouldn't be used. And over the course of, well, you see the photos that are here too. See the photos over the course of roughly a month, the progress that happened. And I walked the park today, and the areas of the park that are most viewable for our park users have really come back well. The turf areas have come back well. The nature area trails that were widened, they did put seed along the edges, so those have come back, not all the way. And then the areas where there's new trails created, the hay that was put down was great, but now it's also kind of blocked the sun from promoting new growth. So that's one area that I talked with Horacio, and one of his staff members, and they're not too concerned about that. They know with late winter, early spring, the weeds that are normally in those sections will come back. So my level of satisfaction is good. I don't want to speak on behalf of the entire board who's ever been out there to see it. But I do want to at least express my gratitude for the level of responsibility that they had for coming out and addressing the problems.
That's exactly my sentiment as well. I wanted to do that as well, because I know that we've had renters and people in the past who really just don't care. And I do appreciate you putting all that effort and really carrying on what happened. Things happen, and we learn from these experiences, right? There's some things that we can do, hopefully in the future, to kind of avoid having to go through all this, because I know it's a lot on you guys. It's a lot. But I do appreciate all the hard work. I saw the park before, I've seen it after, and I've seen the improvement. So, and I understand firsthand having to repair things and get things back to where they were. So I as a resident, I really appreciate that. As a board member, I appreciate it as well.
There are two areas that, and I walked it with you, and I think I walked it one other time afterwards. The two areas that, it's to the area that's the south of the soccer field. Mm-hmm. The last time I walked, it didn't look like you could tell that they had done some damage and nothing had come back. I don't know if that's still the case.
South of the soccer field, so near the restrooms, that hillside?
Where you go up from the hill.
Yeah. I was there today. It looks really good.
All right, well, I'll try to walk after the next rainstorm.
Yeah, well, we were there for soccer, so with Kaylee and I saw that
And then the area to the south of the stone amphitheater, that turf area, when we walked it, they couldn't get down because it was so wet.
Right.
And then I don't know if they went back and did anything, or...
That was when I walked it today, there is a stretch of about maybe 20 yards that is still very muddy. The grass hasn't come back very well. So that's one section. Jennifer and I spoke the other day about putting some more seed in that area. And of course, it's also in a part of the park that gets the least amount of sun. So I think that's part of the issue too, is that it's not coming
I mean,
back.
those are there's some of the other areas, we'll have to wait,
Yeah.
to see what really comes out of it. And then the other question, it revolves around money, is that when you applied for the application, you said there were going to be 200 people, and there was probably 270 participants plus, so let's just call it 300. So you got a better deal because of that. You got a lower rate. And so I'm figuring, once you discovered that you had more people than what you were paying for, that we should have gotten more money out of that. I don't know if it's that much money.
No, the deposit is, there's, the deposit's the same.
No, I'm not worried about the deposit,
But
but they get charged, correct me if I'm wrong, how many people are going to be at the event.
But there's a range.
And I don't know.
So I'm sure they were still within their range.
Are they?
Of the-
Are they?
Well, if they went 200, if it's 200 to 300, whatever the range is, it's probably not that much more if
There's different cutoffs as far as what they pay depending on the
there's
attendance.
tiers.
Right. but
There's
what
tiers.
I'm
And
saying is that,
they put on the application, overall estimated attendance, approximately 200 at a time. And then previous attendance was approximately 350 throughout the day. So one of those things, live and learn. Moving forward, especially an event like this, I would like to include total attendance for the day as the number that we use moving forward, because it's that many cyclists using the track, and that's the impact on the park, as well as far as attendance, trash, restrooms, all
Right.
parking, all those things are impacting the park.
So, sorry, are you
Yeah,
done?
go ahead, it's fine.
That was something actually that I wanted to address was, because it says, you're gonna make the draft the changes, and you said number of racers. My concern is how many racers are racing at one time? And I have not attended this type of event. I really wanted to go. It sounded really exciting. But I just wanted to know how many are going at a time and how that works.
Right. If I can provide feedback as an applicant, when I fill out applications for it, I kind of have to try and read into what information are you looking for from me. I never try and deceive in any way. Sometimes it's how many people will there be at the park at any given time, therefore to be factored in with the other users of the park. So whether that's Sally in the morning or Joey in the afternoon, doesn't really matter that they're two different people when you talk about how many overall users for the park. And then again, there's how many different people are going around. So in other applications that I have filled out, City of Sacramento is probably one of the most comprehensive I've ever done. They actually asked for both. And I really appreciated that, because then I'm telling them everything as accurately as I can, if that makes sense. Like, because then I get, at any given time, here's how many people I believe will be at the park, and then total participants coming as a result from us throughout the day. Here's that as well, so that's kind of.
Yeah,
I have the application, have that, I'm always happy to.
Yeah, I would like to know how many people are on a bike at the same time going on it, right? Because obviously that would make an effect on,
So is there, so when the race is
were there
happening,
200
is it?
people going at the same time?
In a heat.
but
You mean in a
there's
heat?
two things. There's the impact of the people on the track, which was probably 20 maybe at a time. I don't know, maybe less than that.
Passing each other?
Broken into 6 different races, depending on, you try and have all the ladies racing together, all the juniors racing at one time, and then your different skill levels. So we break that into 6 different races, starting at 9:30. A total over the entire day, we had 269, I believe it was. So it about somewhere between 40 and 65 people at any given time. There's like fewer juniors at a certain time, a lot more intermediate men, that sort of thing. So they do as many laps as they can. And what's kind of nice about the format that we do, it's how many laps can you do in a certain time span. So when you start, it's like, whoa, they're doing this fast, so these guys are going to do 6 laps. And everyone races till the leader does that. And then after that, everyone's done. And what's really unique and special about this type of racing is if you're not as skilled, you don't actually have to do all 6. If you're not going to make it, it's going to be another half hour and painful for everyone. Even if they do 4, when they finish them, they're done. So it's what they're able to attain in that time window, and that's how we can keep accommodating different racers.
And I think what we need to take in consideration is the unusual weather that we
Listen,
had
you
that
can't see Iron
day.
Man that
Because
day.
we've
I've never seen anything like
We've had
this.
this
I can't believe
race
you guys
before.
actually did it,
And
yeah.
right,
And-
and the minimal damage to the
Very
park.
minimal. And when you're talking about, for example, when we do the concerts, right? And you have 5,000 people at one time all day long. That's a whole different ballgame than like Bow Wow days where people were just constantly just walking the park and leaving, walking the park and leaving. So we have to look at that as far as, and again, the weather was like,
Well, that's a separate issue, and
that
that's
should
really-
be something that we need to consider. We
well,
need
that was-
to,
I've already mentioned it,
so.
correct me if I'm wrong, because Barry told me that when they do it at Georgetown, they have a weather, if it rains so much within so frequently, that they have the right to cancel it.
Yeah, there's a,
And we probably need to have that on our form, even though most times it's not going to be a factor.
right. No, I agree. That's something that's another live and learn moment is
Yeah.
now we need to have some sort of parameter. And,
I got
Jennifer?
some, if I might,
yeah, go ahead.
okay. I got a number of phone calls from horse owners saying, it wasn't us, it wasn't us. And I said, yeah.
Because the horses.
I got over there and I looked at it, and I got a phone call from one of the board members, and I went over there and looked at it, and I generally walk this area all the time. And what got me, though, is that an incursion into the nature area. I would have preferred that they didn't even go into the nature area. But I was looking at this, and I said, for a permanent area for cross-track, the perimeter around on the edge of the corral and the horse arena from the parking lot all the way around at the perimeter, I'm talking the outside area, down and around and in the eternal, by the walkway, you did that coming back, is a pretty good-sized track without going into any incursion into the nature area. I was surprised because we get on the horse owners for going into the nature area and not staying on the trails. So I would prefer that perhaps we look at just keeping maybe this crowd, because I was really surprised, and I'm not naive, I've been to these cross trails, but maybe the perimeter, we consider the perimeter edge of that whole area around the horse arena and corral, because that's a big area. I don't know,
Well,
but without going into the nature area, just stay
right,
away from
well,
the nature area
in
altogether.
the past, they went over around the playground.
Soccer
It was-
field
it
area
was-
in the back.
They've had several different routes, and like I
Yeah.
said, it was earlier. The part I was most disappointed in was that they kept talking all week about this storm, and none of our staff tried to state, well, maybe we ought to postpone it a week. So that's the part I was disappointed in. And,
Yeah, and
Well,
that's,
well, no,
That's on
you
me.
kept talking about the 6-inch.
No, I understand that, and we need to err on caution, I get that, but again, we have folks that have done this event many times here at our park, very minimal, been very responsible, and I think all of us understand exactly what you're saying and what we need to do to be more diligent and
And take a look at the form.
and here's an opportunity for us, right, to fix it,
Right.
right? Think about the weather, think about the conditions, and work with them, because it's a good event, it's good for it's good here.
It's a good event if it's on the right day.
Well,
Yeah.
exactly, and I guess my question would be to you folks, is that is there a way for us to work with alternate dates in mind if we have severe weather warnings? I mean, that's where we have to find, and that's something that you have a discussion with Barry about.
Yeah, it's not.
But I agree, and I think it shouldn't be just the bicycle event, right?
No, it should- well,
It should be the horses, it should be disc golf, it should be something that we need to draft and do and have in
Right.
consideration. Even for concerts, even for
I actually
me.
never made it over. I didn't know if there was any disc golfers that day. But
Oh, there's always
was.
disc
Oh,
golf.
they're there.
Oh, yeah,
There's
there
always
was.
disc golf.
They're there. Disc golfers are crazy.
So you want to
Yeah,
make a
they'll
comment,
be there.
sir?
Yeah, just a couple things. So, I did meet with Horacio on Friday before the event, and we knew that significant rain was coming at that point. And I made several alterations to the planned course based on his concerns. So as far as park staff being involved before, we did even talk with it about that and focused on the areas that we definitely should stay away from. And so the planned course was actually supposed to go along the short white fence between the park and the school, around that soccer field and through. And we eliminated that whole section because that was just going to be right in the middle of through the soccer playing area, as well as trying to keep the course more to the perimeter of any other turf area than in the middle of it. So we did meet and talk with that, and knowing what was coming, and knowing how racers work within a defined course, normally in dry conditions, a racing line develops that may have a 10, 12-foot wide course taped, but a single racing line develops, and the turf damage is limited. But in a rainy situation, everybody's looking for traction all over the course. So I just explained to Horacio that what's going to be left after this is a 10, 12-foot swath where everybody goes wherever our course is. And so I actually narrowed the course as much as I can. There are certain parameters to course length and course width that we try to stay within this discipline. And I narrowed it as much as I can to try to eliminate how wide that swath of racers' tracks is going to be. And, it was a epic day. And to your comment, there were 270 people plus their families and spectators that did think it was a great event.
It was just the level of,
I'm sure the rain kept the crowds down a little
it
bit.
did keep the crowds down to what was really, and unfortunately I know what the conditions, but I hope you know that it was a really incredible, unique experience for those 270 people.
Oh, I'm sure they loved it.
So what they did, this little guy did a whole lot on a single speed bike that day. I should bring a picture of that, but it took him a half an hour to go a mile and a half, but he found it out, which then inspired Dad to be like, dang it, I can't opt out. So Dad had to race too.
I think as far as our, and I think I'm agreeing with Barry's, I think we ought to take a look at the number of people that are going to be at an event, partly when we look at, not when we look about charges.
We do.
So,
Yeah, it's good to base it on the last time they did the event. Okay, that's probably a good number to estimate for this one. In this case, maybe not, because it was the rain, there's probably fewer people.
If retroactively you'd like us to go back and pay at the higher number fee, we're happy to pay what we owe.
well, that's, all right, that.
We're in this for the long
you deal with
term
them
and we
people.
value relationships, so we're not looking to get away.
And I don't know if it
Absolutely.
really, if it's a floating number or not.
If that's what you have to do, absolutely.
No, it's in, the weather, pay more attention to the weather, and I thank you for giving this to me today. The Georgetown
Right.
example that you gave me, they gave me a copy of the policy, so.
Their policy is,
It's 1.5 to 2 inch, 1.5 inches of rain, 2 inches of snow. We're not going to get the snow.
yeah.
I wish we would, that'd be kind of fun.
I've seen it snow once in Orangevale.
Twice, yeah.
But if that happens, they cancel this event, but also equestrian,
Right.
some other things too, on the trails there. So,
But actually,
I
as a
think it's just a
location, I
new
think,
policy.
as a
Yeah,
location, I
that-
think this was an
that's
excellent
the good-
location.
We need
You
to look
know,
at that whole
it's-
form and adjust
It's
it.
a great setting for a race. No
It is.
cars, people, places to be,
And on the plus
good
side,
viewing. So, yeah.
on the plus side, I don't know how many, 6 or 7 other times you've had it, and it's been fine,
It's been great.
I think reflecting back on it, staff should have said, hey, we're going to get epic rain, we're going to get 4 inches rain, it's going to be not good for our park.
It was just so hard. It's been so long since we've seen water, right? And all of us were like, sure,
Actually-
really, it's going to happen.
Well, no, it actually, for as much rain as we got, we didn't have that much runoff. I mean,
I know.
I've
I'm
seen
just
that.
trying to
where
make light a
that-
little bit,
That
but
whole creek has been overflowing, and with as much rain as we got, it should have, but
It's so
It all, a lot of it's soaked in.
Yeah. I got a
trees
quick
like it.
question. Is it possible, you had said that the city of Sacramento was the most comprehensive, that made you feel comfortable? Like, could we have them just
Can we
maybe,
get the form and look at their
like,
form?
send what you thought, you know, what made you comfortable or whatever to add to
I
ours?
was looking to honestly answer questions, and I kind of, when it asked the question, trying to gauge, are they looking for total that we're gonna have, are they looking for how much at a time we will, not to split, but how much we'll have so that they can factor in other users in the park? So I'm happy to forward like the application that I fill out for Sac City.
Thank you.
And then just some of the questions, like, I'll fill out however long is needed to
Well, no,
be
we-
open and honest with what we'd like to do.
Absolutely, thank you, we appreciate that.
All right, so I think we've,
Hopefully it won't be raining, so I'll be able to go as a
Well, no,
spectator. Next time.
yeah, well, we'll get, I think we're gonna get another 2 to 4 inches over the next week.
Thank you guys for coming.
Yeah.
Happy holidays.
Yeah.
Thank you guys very much for the opportunity to park. It was I tried to include some of the comments that we got from the day, and there was just people that were still writing hi. I mean, a couple of days later, like, I can't believe I actually did that. So for what that's worth, please know that the experience that they had at Orangevale Park was
Just,
So cool.
I'm hoping in the future that if we have it on the form, that it may get canceled if staff deems it too wet.
We want it to only be canceled if weather,
Right.
that's all.
No.
We like having it here.
All right, so,
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Bye, Logan.
so let's go back,
Thank you.
let's go back to correspondence D. Everybody take a quick look.
The attorney, Bill.
I did, I already looked at it, I mean, I opened it and looked. I move we approve the attorney billing as presented.
I'll second.
All right, so motion and second, I don't think we need any discussion on it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Erica, you want to give me your?
Yeah.
All right, so a motion and second, let's vote.
Okay. Montez?
Yes.
Swenson, yes. Stickney?
Yes.
And Mraz?
Yes.
400.
Okay, so then we'll go back to 10A or through H, which is committees. I think the only committee we had was a planning committee, which Lisa and myself were at.
I would like to, before we do that, the Finance Committee, just a reminder, we will be meeting next week on the 15th at
And that's
10 a.m.
Sharon and
Sharon and Erica.
Erica.
Erica. All right.
And then also would like to schedule a Recreation Committee meeting, and that would be Directors Mraz and Montez for January. The primary purpose of that will be to set our fee schedule for the next year.
Okay. Open the date, whatever.
So
All right, you're
it'll
open.
go- It'll go to the rec committee and then back to,
Back to the board in February.
okay.
So, Director Montez, if you can send us some dates that work for you.
Most Fridays.
Most Fridays are good? Great. All right. We'll get it scheduled.
Perfect.
All right, so now we can go on to the Planning Committee meeting from,
The planning committee, and we were at the meeting, and basically, we talked about, I guess the two things we talked about were the pool and the trail.
yeah, the Prop 68 per capita grant money.
Right. You want to go on about it?
Yeah,
or-
the,
Oh, can we get the map of
Sure.
it some way, either up there
I
or,
don't think, I can just hold it up for you. Okay, you got it? Thank you.
I think it, yeah, you want to put it somewhere we can.
Yeah, for the camera? Yes.
Grab a chair and stand up against the chair.
Yeah, yeah, right over here, Stan, yeah.
So you can shoot that so we can look at it up there, so we can have a reference point.
Yeah, that's perfect, yes, yeah. So, one of the main reasons,
Maybe a little, can we get a teeny darker or not?
Well, it's the lighting.
Yeah. There we go, there we go, right there, right there. Does that work?
yeah.
All right.
So, one of the main purposes of our meeting was to try to narrow down and finalize the plans we want to apply for with the grant money, with capital grant. And we've already agreed upon the connector from the upper parking lot here down to the new property. So that would be roadway. And then we talked before about, thank you, we talked before about, as a second priority was playground extension, and the playground by the pool. But we don't feel we'll have enough funding because the cost of the road is more than we anticipated. So the next project that we want to do is, so we're going to have vehicle access to the new property. Now we want better pedestrian access.
You want to show that?
Yeah, so we're looking at this connector here. DG Trail, that will connect the upper parking lot to the new property. And the pricing I put within the packet, the roadways, now we're looking at roughly 172, 173,000. And we were quoted at about $10 per square foot.
Linear foot. You should linear foot or?
It's square foot, I'm sorry, if I said linear foot, it's square
Okay.
foot. But that would give us an estimate of about 500 linear feet. And then on top of the stop costs on top of that would bring us pretty much to our 250,000. So this stretch here is about 200 feet, 200 linear feet. So that would give us roughly 300 more linear feet of trail to put in. And we talked a little bit about maybe going here, connecting that, or starting from here and start that trail up. As much as we can do with that money, and then the board can decide later if we want to spend some park impact fee money on finishing that trail.
At least around the north part, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, kind of finish that loop, which would really be nice for bringing this whole park together.
Would that put any parking slots like on that shows there, or is it just straight road?
Anyway,
See how it says the road goes into new asphalt stalls?
yeah,
They're just going to go straight
Straight in.
to what's existing?
I believe we're gonna follow the master plan as close as we can, so going straight in.
What do you see?
Well, see, right there, it says new asphalt stalls. I was just curious if it was just for the road or with those stalls, because that's, the parking lot currently ends right there where you see the,
I believe the estimate was just for the connector, Jason. I don't think it was
Yeah,
for
that's
the,
what- that's what I was
it
curious,
wasn't for the parking spaces.
So-
That's another cost.
so this is where it kind of ends, and
Yeah.
it kind of has general stuff there. That's why I was just curious if it's going to go in there.
That
We just-
arm.
We're just looking at the connector.
Yeah, that's why I was just curious.
Yep.
So
the
basically,
connector.
the connector's got to go all the way in here, this is the part.
Yes.
Right.
And then I brought up the Berry, and I don't know about lighting. Do we need to worry about having it at least set up for lights?
I was going to have one more thing if you want here. On your path here, this is a proposed new building, so the path would actually have to come all the way into here.
Right. The walking path.
So this is not there. So this is where we are. So the path would actually, you were saying about 200 linear feet, but it actually is going to come up farther up.
I don't know that it needs to now.
Okay, I was just thinking, otherwise it just kind of,
Right,
Fades over.
I see what you mean, and, because right now, we want to get it up to the top of the hillside, so it's
Can you-
roughly even with the top of the north parking lot.
So
As-
we do need some kind, because one, like at the tree lighting, or if people were walking around the park, we need some kind of.
Oh, no, I was just saying that, oops, wrong one. This building isn't here, so how
Right.
this shows this little path here, it actually goes, go away volume, would actually go farther in if it came to the building. That's all I was kind of saying
Right,
on
it
that.
should, I think we're only gonna be able to just go.
To the
just
grass area.
Really to the grass area.
Well, yeah, well, you said that that was about 200, and we had
Yeah.
approximately 500. That's why I was so in saying that you might take up if you plan to come all the way into the
Right,
community.
I think the reason why we decided to stop at that point was because of, we need to decide, one, if there's the geo bond and all the new, I'm sure the new costs, all those shipping containers out in the ocean, the new cost of supplies as well as construction, we need to get, but I think.
Oh, yeah. I was in making in reference to the map here, to show that, some of those things aren't there, or,
Yes.
I was thinking that when we put out the bid, we'll have an add-on to complete the trail and see what that's gonna cost,
What we'll get.
what we'll get, and if it's feasible to finish it or not.
Or we could build
We're gonna get the biggest bang for our buck, that's for sure. We're
Right.
trying to do that.
Right. And I think it will really open up that area down there for rentals.
I like the connection,
Yeah.
the
And
safety.
you know what, and that walkway will draw people,
Well, yeah, no,
so.
well, that's the beauty, that's why when we were talking about at the meeting there's already people there's a guy who has his giant Marmadukes walking through here.
Yeah.
He goes all the way down there, and then there's a couple that have their bulldogs. I've met them down there, that come all the way around.
Yep, you do.
I think the long-range plan is to have a trail.
Oh, yeah.
with The whole, but
Yeah, that'd be great.
So the purpose right now is board approval to move forward with those two items, because I need to submit the application.
Yeah.
Is
Right.
board, the agreement that this is a good move?
so we just need to
So
give
is
you
that
direction.
13B?
Direction,
Is
thank
that
you.
what we're looking
Okay,
at?
so,
Is that for 13B, or, because weren't
no,
we
it's-
just talking about the planning committee?
This is planning committee, so it's
Planning committee.
10F.
10F, okay.
Well, I move that we,
well, is that a separate item, is that three?
It's not, it's just direction.
All right, so,
Yep. I move that we authorize our district administrator to move forward on this item.
and I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So thank you. The board is giving you direction to do that.
Great.
Fill in the blanks.
Fill in the blanks.
Yes.
Get her done, Barry.
right.
Get her done.
Well,
And then the other major part of this meeting had to do with the pool. And I put the timeline at the bottom of the page, and I included another page with the timeline. And that's based on a conversation I had with Aquatic Design Group. And we set that timeline, and then they submitted to us as part of their needs assessment, but also another spreadsheet that showed their priorities, what they thought our priorities should be. And so the planning committee met and discussed those priorities, determined what items we felt we should have the contractors do, and which items, with input from Jason and Horacio, which items we felt we could do internally, in-house, and which ones needed to be done within the next 2 years, and which we felt could be pushed out further on. So I included a list of those, pool repair list,
Yeah.
based on those priorities.
and I like I guess it's from my old job, I used to like to have lists.
I like it. I
Yeah.
like the list.
Yeah, no,
Great.
What I'd like to do is bring this back to the board next meeting in a more formal fashion. By then, we should have some additional pricing,
and then,
Great.
and then
and
get,
then I asked Barry to put these lists back on the agenda in March to see what we could accomplish,
Okay.
so that,
right, so a progress report in March.
yeah, I mean,
As to what
some
we-
of it's gonna be really simple and some is not so. And I think when they're gonna do this presentation, because I think Horacio made a good point, was they're gonna be the ones that are gonna oversee. You might be, I'm sure you'll be involved in, and be a learning experience, Horacio, but
Oh, yeah.
that should be included in I guess that's called soft
Yeah,
costs.
soft cost, right. Yeah, because they're the experts on project.
Yeah, no,
management.
that's fine, and,
Correct,
So,
yeah. And so I'll bring that back next meeting, and in March, we'll come back with a progress report on what we've been able to do in-house.
right, and then that way it kind of focuses Jason and Horacio, and these are the things we got to get done, and, I like let's use the slide. I mean, that's probably something that could be pushed off a year, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, we put that down for 2023.
Yeah, so,
And the floors as well, the floors in the bathrooms. A couple new things came up, things that weren't in their report that we know internally that we need to do, so.
and then I won't even bring it up. Never mind.
Okay.
Never mind. We'll just
Okay,
let that one go.
all right.
All right, so anything else about,
It was-
I think the number one priority is there's two priorities. There's the pool, we need to get that organized, and I think we're looking at doing it in the 22 to 23 budget.
Yes, because we're looking to start it right when the pool closes in 2023. So it'll really be the 23-24 budget, where a lot
I
of.
thought we were going to do it at the end of the swim season next year.
Oh, shoot, that's right, I'm sorry,
So
yes.
22, 23.
Don't push it off too far.
No, I'm sorry.
22,
you're right.
23.
22, 23, yeah.
So we're going to do it, let's say, September 1st.
Yeah.
So we need to get the packet together and out, and hopefully somebody will bid on it at a reasonable price,
Right, right.
and then we'll see.
In the finance committee, when we meet next week, we're going to talk about funding for it.
All right. Okay, great, thank you.
All right, and then, so now we'll go on to 13B, I guess. Oh, no, monthly report, excuse me, 11.
Yeah, the administrative report. Shall I start? Couple of things. I've been doing my, I call them tag-alongs, my shadowing, job shadowing, and in the past 2 months, I shadowed our administrative clerk, Christina Kelly, and maintenance worker 2, Bruce Edwards. And Christina Kelly, the primary things we went over was I had her treat me as if I was a customer looking to rent the facility. And she gave me a good tour, and she went through the application process with me, the steps that are taken from insurance to security deposits to alcohol permits and security, the whole gamut, which was great, really helpful for me to see it from a customer perspective. She also went over the new Civic Rec registration software with me. She briefed me on that, and just basic office operations, registrations, phone systems. It's helpful. And she's very pleasant. Her customer service skills are extraordinary, and she's been a great, my 1 year here, obviously a great representative at the front desk.
Absolutely.
And my day with Bruce Edwards was last Tuesday, and Bruce planned a fantastic workday that included all the parks maintenance staff here at Shackleton Woods. And there were a lot of downed trees, downed limbs. It really needed to be cleared out, and a lot of pruning. And it was a great day. We accomplished a lot. It was a fulfilling, end of the day, it just felt great. We knew that we did a lot. We knew the park was in better shape. We knew the neighbors were safer if a fire was to come along. And so, Bruce is very skilled, hardworking park maintenance worker, and it was a good day pulling the whole staff together.
Awesome.
Yep. And then Larry Bain, our auditor, was here the last week in October, and he was expecting to be here 3 days, but he got finished in 2, and a lot of that credit goes to Jennifer and Sue Myron, who really had everything organized and ready for Larry when he got here, so that really sped up the process. And early reports are that the audit went very well. We haven't received a final draft yet. He sent me an original draft, an early draft, and he also forwarded that to Director Sharon, and
And then there was we shared that new information on the
yes.
potential lowering of our rates.
Yes, the SCRS update was forwarded to Larry, and he received it and commented that was great news. He and I haven't had a chance to talk in depth about it yet.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, also just to note that we are now, OV Parks is now Rotary members as an agency member, so, and I want to thank Horacio and Jason. They're going to be attending meetings as well as myself, so we are now part of the Rotary.
Do you have to go like every Friday or?
It's Friday mornings. We have, the expectation is that we go to at least half the meetings. And between the three of us, we'll be going to almost all of them. All right, we're ready for the rec report. Unless you have questions?
Yeah, well, let me know when we get to the graphic here.
Yeah, that's coming up next.
Sure, we would talk about the graphic.
It reminds me when Cindy was here. It's very nice.
Well, I'm trying to get things in there and just show how things are going.
Right,
And that's kind of the thing, because, we, like, you have for this one, you have the October reading, and that gives you some, but let's, putting it together, kind of how those monies are coming in. I mean, the big benefit from this in here, and with making the numbers go up, this facilities has been going crazy.
Insane.
well, yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I mean, you had the one, if you start looking at the numbers down below, yeah, you had 1 month, but I'm sure it all depends on where the weekends fall and what's going on, but overall, it looks like we're above, I don't know if this is what your expectations were, or this was the
So projections are the line, and so, we've been exceeding expectation, their projections, so.
But the expectations, is that historic ones, or is it just what you go year by year?
Well, I took these by historic and as well as things as they change, so.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, as we see things go, like, I'll give you, for instance, as it's not on here, but June used to be piled high, really high than most other things. But I increased May and April and lowered June a bit to compensate out by what trends have been showing where the money's been coming in.
But it's all looking good to me.
Looking good, doing good. So that's, having it.
Are all the buildings being used, or?
We've actually had, these buildings are, like
Yeah.
even this weekend, it's multiple things going on this weekend. Some have two different things, and one in the gym, one in here. So, they're doing well. The activity building is getting used, and we've had a couple in Building 1,
Which is,
the big one, the old,
Closest
used
to
to be
Hazel.
the
yeah.
service one
Yeah.
or whatever, it's the big, yeah.
Actually, we had one in Building 2 as well, now I think.
Oh, yes, you did.
Yeah, so I mean,
So, is the lack of a road hurting that?
well, on rental days for there, we open the gate and just leave it open.
Okay,
The road will just be nice for many, and for, staff, for everything, just going back and forth on that road and doing that. It'll just be a benefit as we progress.
Can I ask, it seemed like, gosh, and I know him, he's a friend of mine, Frank?
Right? Yeah,
It seemed like it took him a little longer to get out this year?
yeah.
Was that?
He had, because this year, based his thing kind of when he projected
Yeah.
off his last year, but he had all 3 attractions this year, so it overwhelmed him. So we're in talks with Frankie on that, and next year, we know we're going to extend out farther as well on his general contract, so make sure we cover that and I talked with him about.
No worries,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just was, I was just curious when I
Yep.
still saw it, I was like, is everything okay?
Yep,
I
nope.
mean, because
He just
usually
had a
he's like those folks, he's very responsible he's always been very responsible about getting.
because I think he needs to set it up so that he's out at least a week before the tree lighting, I would think.
So I just thought might have been some concerns or something.
Yeah, he had a couple of problems with getting his trailers in their spots where they're supposed to, people were in there and they were waiting to get them out, but he was out right before it, so we were good.
Okay.
But again, that's another thing that would make that road a lot nicer when we have that road for tree lighting, all that, so.
Yeah, that would be very helpful
I have a
for
question.
that whole thing.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is this, on that note, it talked about the $8,715 that was reimbursed by San Juan Unified. Is that included in this? It is included, so it's not, we didn't have an addition to what's here, right? The 8,715?
Correct. If that money
Okay,
was
that's
deposited,
included.
it's going to show up in there.
Okay,
But it's not,
It's in October, November, but it's actually for summer programming, so
Okay.
very likely why the noting was there, so you'll see.
yeah, okay. Thanks.
But on that note, we've had a couple of fun events in this time here. We had, obviously, our Halloween. We really didn't talk much because we didn't have a meeting in November, and that was quite successful. I mean, I don't have those numbers, but there was quite a lot of people in that
what was, I didn't catch that.
Halloween event.
Oh, yeah, my
Yeah.
one daughter was there, and she said it was pretty nice.
I mean, I was,
Got here early and left early.
yeah, I mean.
That's a good thing.
We were, supposed to be closing up at 7,
Busy.
and it was still busy. There were some crazy aliens in there. It was weird.
That's fun.
And a successful craft fair again coming through on that. And then obviously, I don't know, we had a little thing, I think it was last week, something happened with that tree lighting thing.
It was really good. Probably the only thing I was a little disturbed by is the water bottle. I mean, it was cold, one thing. It probably would have been a better event if we could have got inside. But that's the way life is now.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to make the comment. I love the fact that there was restroom signs up everywhere. Parents really appreciate that, believe me.
What was that?
Restroom signs,
Yeah.
when you have kids, the last thing you want to ask is, where's the restroom?
Right.
There was arrows pointing, there was signs up everywhere, which
Right.
was fantastic. There was no lines at the restroom, which was even better because people could pace themselves and, those little things really add up, so.
So I know that like Nadia had given me things like approximately 900 attendees. It's hard to guess when you're not having people kind of coming right through a door and you're circling a building. But there was quite a few people.
No, that's,
Yeah, but I was going to read you this email too that came in. It was from Katie, and she was saying, "Thank you for hosting the Christmas tree lighting event last night. I have joined for years with my kids, and I just want to say that this year's outdoor setup was definitely my favorite setup for the event. I didn't even know the stage opened up on the outside like that. It was such a great event. I hope you continue to keep it outside even after all the pandemic stuff is over. Thank you again."
well, I mean, we could probably do some more of it. I mean,
Okay, yeah, I mean,
community.
it was
Depending
just,
on the year.
it was just that they were happy about it though.
What's nice is that even though the pandemic has been, more than frustrating, there are some really good positive things that we can hold on to that
I
will
know the
benefit
feeling.
us.
I mean, I'll be honest,
I took a
The
nap.
creativeness and seeing things differently, so
Yeah.
for sure.
and doing the sound for that, when we are inside the gym, there's so much
Go out to your car.
Right.
noise coming in there from
Wheel
just
you out,
people that are there. All that just is getting picked back up, and that's why the sound is always a hard thing to really manage.
Well, I mean-
When we're out there, I had mics just cranked up and the volume on, and the kids just went.
And those kids choirs were great. They were
oh, yeah, maybe
really
we can-
good.
And maybe you can combine it, have a little outside and depending on if it's
And I
not.
was gonna say, the other fun part was that fog started rolling in and made the lights make it a little bit nicer out there. I don't know, I was sitting back behind the black things, but you could just kind of see it coming through the lights, and
Yeah.
he had a nice little ambiance. It
Yeah, it did.
Well, it was a little nippy.
was a little cold.
December, definitely.
Well, it's,
Yeah,
still
it's-
not the North Pole, minus
No,
6
no, no,
degrees.
That's the time of the
You know,
year.
it's just
Put it
that
in
time
a
of year.
Recommendation to the weather people.
No, I mean, I've been here when it's been raining.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and that's
yeah.
not good either, but,
So.
no, it was a good event. Like I said, the only downside was all the water bottles. I don't know if we could have got away with smaller water bottles.
Those were
Yeah,
donations.
they were donated by
donated.
Mush
All
Swab.
right, well, all right.
We appreciate the water that was,
Yeah.
but it wasn't us, yeah.
All right, no, that's fine.
Okay. Awesome, good job, guys.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, that was a good, I'm thinking we probably, 900 is what we usually get anyway, right? Or
Again, I think it's hard to judge
got
when
over
you,
that, yeah.
because everybody was going, I think it looks okay, but, it was, when you see everybody packed into a gym, you're like, wow, there's a lot, but when they're all spread all around, you're like, is that the
It's
same?
hard to click and see.
Yeah.
well,
It was nice. I liked how it was spread out and
so anyway,
Yeah,
maybe
tree
like
lighting.
Lisa said, maybe we can take some of the stuff that happened this year and incorporate it in the
think that
Like
goes
you, and like you said, Jason, maybe with more of the singing outside would make it, but
I gotta
we'll
say
look at that next year.
That's the first time that since I've been here, it's almost 19 years, that I've seen that stage be used for something like that. I mean, we had the thing in the summertime, but we were able to put something out on that stage like that.
And our community didn't know it did certain things, so it drew attention, that was,
So maybe we'll try to, whatever, you guys work on it for next year. Look, like I said, it came off really well. And then the tree looks really nice, too.
Well, we can just transition straight
I
over
looked
to
at that,
that.
I'm going,
That was a,
maybe not quite as good as the one down by the
Well.
Capitol, but we did pretty good.
it does,
And ours is,
Pick on our tree, we have a history coming, we know about that
and it's
tree.
still alive, too.
and it's getting taller and taller by the year.
beautiful.
You can tell how much it has grown when you're up there.
All right, anything else? Let's go on with the rest of,
Talk about the parks a little bit?
Just real quick, just tree lighting, helping on that, decorating the Christmas tree with a tree truck makes it a lot more convenient, meaning you can move around the tree a little easier and get in places that the other extended boom you cannot. So that helped out a lot with Easy Stumps. Letting us use their truck. That is a good gesture and a good thing for that event.
Yeah, Darren and his people are good people. Good-
Yeah.
Good
So-
support.
Now looking forward to January to take it down and do the same thing as putting it up. Takes a little longer to put up just because all the zip ties and everything that goes in every joint along the
Yeah,
all the what they call the wiring that goes into the in between the trees. So, but got it done, and I think it was a great event. I was outside for the most part and look at a good flow of cars coming in and out. So
there was,
it was quite a few people also. In comparison to what about 3 years ago, it was a little less because of the overflow was not quite as full, but it was a successful event.
and hopefully next year we'll have the road in.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be that soon.
Well,
It'd be nice, though.
well, whatever, that'll be a goal.
I've been working on getting the pool pump fixed.
So did you
I am working on getting a quote for the BFD and see what the cost will be. And then also I applied to SMUT for a possible grant and see if we can get a little reimbursement for the upgrade of installing a new VFD. So hopefully we'll get a response back from them.
Is it working right now or not?
Negative. We're using the slide pump to circulate the water and
So it'll
and aerify it.
it'll be okay for the
Right, and we're getting it ready to cleaning it for the
plunge?
polar bear plunge. It'll be ready for then.
Okay.
Burr.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I didn't sign up for that yet.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure
You
you
know,
do.
there is that tradition, that
Yeah,
you
there
haven't
is.
done it yet. You have to
Gotta
do
jump
it.
in.
Still haven't bought my
Yep.
wetsuit.
Oh,
that's why.
and Barry needs to do it.
I'm going to do it.
Rasha, I don't think you've done it.
I have not.
No, he hasn't.
Oh,
So we're making a jumping club
no?
here with the newcomers. So.
I'd be more than happy to take your photo and hand you hot
Oh, I
chocolate.
thought you were gonna say I'll be more than happy to join you.
I have my buttons. I've done
She's
it.
done it.
I've done it more than once.
Oh,
You get a
of course
button
you get a button.
that you
Yeah.
did it, and then you get a button for how many years you've done it.
Bragging rights.
So I have bragging rights. I have photos for proof too.
I didn't stay around long to
Yeah.
get my button. I jumped in and got out and it was gone.
Hot cocoa and hot
That
soup.
is my.
Anyway, so that's,
Okay.
So that's coming up, but it will be ready for that event.
All right.
Okay, and you do learn people walk on water, by the way, when you do it.
yes.
Yeah, Manny finally retired from doing it.
Quicker than that. Also been working on fire mitigation in some areas. Barry already mentioned Shackleton Woods. We also did some tree removal here at the park on the
Some of the
the
sycamore,
trees that we talked about
Right.
in the maintenance committee, and working with Tree Foundation to get those replaced. So as soon as I get them, I'll report that.
it'd be nice to get them during the rainy,
Yeah, so
Season.
that after the cold weather passes, then we can just plant right away.
so,
So, and been doing some aerifying or aeration on the fields for the winter, and most of the soccer fields.
I got a question. I know at one time we used to fertilize them 3 times a year, I guess. Did we go, and I know that when we went to a budget crunch, we decided to cut back.
Right, so we're doing pre-emergent and fertilizer mixed for weed control, as well as we started to use a broadleaf control for controlling the clover and all those weeds.
Dallas grass? 'Cause I think that's, we're
Dallas
doing-
grass is difficult to control.
Right, but, so we're doing it all the turf areas?
We're doing it on the sports fields only.
What about, is pecan considered a sports field, or?
Yes.
Okay.
That will be, and then seeding is coming up here at the beginning of
I know.
the season, right before the summer, just so spring.
Okay,
Cool.
and then,
So, and did some cleanup in here around the shrub areas. We prune all that and make that look good for the
you're
event.
gonna
so.
do you do the gym, where they redo the waxing again, or
Oh, they'll be
Floors are going to be done
buildings.
during
During break.
Christmas vac?
Christmas, when we're closed down. We got the gym and the hallway here.
Okay,
We did this floor already.
Yeah, we've done this floor.
Yes. And then one quick note that I want to bring to the board, because that building, the youth center, we had some water intrusion on
across the street?
across the street on the wall. That's a very antique building. So that's just a concern that, there could be a potential of water coming underneath because of cracking in the foundation, or just because it's sitting on bricks, that we're starting to get a little more intrusion because of where the bricks sit on the foundation. So I just wanted to bring that info to you guys, but we're working on sealing that, so repainting, so get a sealer for the walls as far down as we can. The staff did the new gutters around the area, and then put a drain in the back so that water flows better. So that's what we worked on, so.
Like a French drain kind of thing, or just,
It's just it's kind of like a French drain, but it's more like just a trench drain,
Okay.
like what you have in your house. So that gutter collects the water, drains into the pipe, and then it goes out onto the drain area.
That's a historical problem there.
It has been, it
Yes.
has happened in the past.
Oh, yes. Yeah, many times before.
Yeah, and you can see that there was, I don't know if anybody remembers, but there was entrances in certain areas, like one in the back and one on the
Right,
south
yeah.
side, and it was covered with bricks, and then there's cracking already showing. So those are the things that we have to address.
Yeah.
So
all right,
that's it.
Thanks. Then we have the report from FEC Police. And there was a fair amount of activity in the parks that they helped address for us this month.
you want
That's 2 months,
a couple
really.
of citations for dogs off leash?
Yeah, there were a couple citations and many warnings. And typically, a citation won't happen unless there's been a warning first.
And it was also at the community center.
Yeah, it
community
was-
Park, too, it wasn't just at Almond.
Correct. Yeah. Almond Park had a couple, and this park, I think, had 4.
Yes, they both had 4,
Yeah, I was going to wait.
different dates.
Yeah, so that, and then I had the photos of the events that Jason had talked about. Not the Christmas event, or the tree lighting event. The third page has kind of a sequence of us removing a large limb from a tree. A limb had snapped, and it was trapped between 2 trees, and dug with the tractor, and the rest of the guys harnessed it, and we pulled it down.
Okay.
And
You know
then
that one by the bridge, did you guys ever get, you just left it alone, or did you get,
At Community Park?
yeah? Remember when I showed you and
Yeah,
Horacio
yeah,
that
you
one?
should- I haven't,
We have not addressed that one
Well,
because it's
that's
still
fine,
pretty,
you don't have, I mean, as long as you're,
I was going to be another good one.
I mean, it's
It
out
is well
of
wedged
the
on
way,
there.
so it's
But
not
yes,
really gonna be.
it is still,
It'll fall eventually anyway, but,
right. And the last page has
the
Jason-
turkey.
Jason
turkey
and Christina were
Yeah,
the
that day didn't
second.
happen. This is all,
Did you guys win?
no.
Brad Squires is proudly, him and Matt are proudly sporting those medals and the pride, so.
Yeah,
They had actually changed the date. I was going to participate with my daughter, who has got a plan to throw them with her fast pitch.
You think it's that easy, but it's so
Technique.
awkward because you throw it straight and the turkey's right in the
Yeah,
side.
she thinks that she's got it figured out how to do it.
I guarantee she
In a
has.
fast pitch kind of
She
way. We'll
doesn't have
see.
it. Trust
We'll
me.
see for next year.
It was one of those things is, oh yeah, and,
Yeah.
It was fun to watch.
Right? I mean, in your garage.
Yeah, you don't want to be throwing turkeys around, so. Glad you guys participated.
Okay,
I was not in a good mood that day.
so we're on which one? B 13?
13B.
13B, that's this,
That's the Prop 68.
68, which
Yeah.
you have already given me permission. I'm sorry, I forgot that it was an agenda item, so.
so we don't need to do anything other than give you direction, right? We already did that?
Well, I think maybe I'll go back and recommend the motion, because it has some more specifics in it.
Yeah.
So I'll amend my motion, I'll amend my motion. I move that the board approves the district to apply for Prop 68 per capita grant funding for the projects identified by the planning committee. One, the construct a driveway that will connect the existing upper parking lot of the community center to the existing parking lot of the new property per the master plan. And two, construct decomposed granite pathway to connect the existing community center park with the new property, and as an additional parkway that the funding will cover. So, to extend as much as we can, get
Right,
our
yeah.
bang for the buck as per the master plan. That is my recommendation. And to have the district administrator proceed.
All right, I'll second that motion.
Thank you.
Do we need to, we will vote then?
I think we're all in favor. Oh, it has money, no.
Yeah, it
Well,
does
we
have
have-
money.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's got,
All right, Stickney,
yes,
Mraz,
Yes.
Brumberg, oh, sorry.
She's absent.
Montez,
Yes.
and Swenson, yes.
all right, and then any add-ons we want to do, we can do that later at the time of,
When we get the contract going.
okay. Yeah, we'll worry about the add-ons later, okay. If any. Okay, compaction, correct?
The item C is approving the temporary seasonal part-time salary scale for SCRS non-eligible employee classification for calendar year 2022.
I move we approve the proposed temporary seasonal part-time salary scale for SCRS non-eligible employee classification for the calendar year of 2022.
I'll second that.
Okay, discussion. To me, it still looks like there's some compaction, because if you go from step one, 15, let's say 1525, and step two is 1550, that's not much of a,
Correct. That's, yeah, we used to have 4 steps, and last year we cut it down to 2 or 3.
but still, I guess I'm used to more when you take another step or a different position that's maybe not super noticeable, but,
Right. So,
It's becoming more and more challenging because
Right.
of the structure of the minimum wage
Right.
here in California. So it's not going to be as noticeable, and it's making it harder.
right, no,
on
that's
certain
fine.
classifications.
so the future, the way to reduce the compaction within a job classification would be to add steps to
Well,
alleviate.
what, I mean, just,
We did that a couple years ago, I think we did. so.
Yeah, I
maybe
just,
something to look
I
at.
looked at this, I'm thinking, well,
I
why,
know.
why would I take a bump up for 25 cents an hour?
Yeah.
But whatever, I mean.
I know, it's
But whatever, that's something, we could have that discussion down the road.
Well, the good thing for them, they're getting a $1 increase.
And and it's not affecting any of our full-time staff?
No, it's just
No, it doesn't,
temporary
but that,
seasonal.
that's also where compaction happens, though, is, the lower.
I mean, that's what I worry about more is,
Yeah, me too.
I mean, because a lot of times you'll take, when I was temporary, you take a permanent job and you'd actually take home less because they take out retirement and a few other things.
Medical, yeah.
Right, medical and boom, and so, well, but wait a minute.
Yeah, so that's where the salary studies come into play when we get into that for the new fiscal year. Trying to help reduce compaction that way.
Well, anyway, I guess we're going to vote on it, so we'll just live with what we got right now and then take a look at it
Yep,
All right.
future.
Mraz?
Yes.
Montez?
yes.
Swenson, yes. Stickney?
Yes.
Okay, 400.
Okay, and then, so we're on to
13D.
13D.
So this is a resolution because the full-time salary scale has changed due to the 0.9% COLA that was approved by the board back in August, that takes effect December 1st, took effect December 1st. And so we just need to get this on record that the salary scale has changed because of that.
Okay.
I move we approve resolution number 21-12-679, the resolution of the Orangevale Recreation and Park District amending the district salary schedule.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, then we have a motion and a second, so let's go ahead and vote.
Montez?
Yes.
Swenson, yes. Stickney?
Yes?
Mraz?
Yes.
All right, 400.
All right, we're on 13E.
Informational item, and just wanted to, let you know what my intention is, and in hopes for your support. I'll bring this to the board next month, but we had two projects this fiscal year that were unanticipated when we approved the budget back in July, August. And one was the overflow parking lot project at Disc Golf. And that came on pretty quickly as we gave Sierra National Construction some options, because they offered us to do a job at cost
Right.
in exchange for them parking here, staging here during the sidewalk project. So Horacio and I presented some options to them, and they went with the option that we were most happy about. It was the overflow parking. It was the one that was going to cost the district the most amount of money, and it's the project that saved the district the most amount of money. But we didn't budget for it, though we have the money in our budget. What I'd like to do is, since that's a new project, it does qualify for park development fees, so we can ask for those park development fees in arrears, and that would help our general fund budget. And we can then apply those funds elsewhere.
All right.
Same with the new fitness court that we're going to be putting in between now and the end of April. We did get some grant money. Jason applied for a grant through CPRS that we were granted, and the Rotary has also granted us some money. So we wanted to leverage that towards that project, and that also qualifies, because it's a new facility, it qualifies for park development fees.
Okay.
Side question, where again are we putting the outdoor fitness area?
It's going to be by the playground at Community Park.
That's right, okay.
And it's one spot, or is it going to be,
Yeah, it's going to be one fairly large area.
and where is it in relation to the gazebos?
Yeah, it's kind of where the older gazebo is, the smaller one, and the playground, there's that corner.
Okay.
So basically between the two gazebos, but on the lawn
Right.
area close to the playground.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
The picnic
Shelters.
areas.
Picnic shelters.
Okay. Say that for me again.
Yeah.
Tell me where.
You know where the two picnic shelters are? In the,
Small one
near
in
the
the-
playground?
Yes.
It's going to be between those, but closer to the playground, so.
Okay,
Just on the other side of that tree.
I got it. I had to get there. I had to see it first in my head.
Yeah, north of the playground.
I guess what we're going to have to do is just get rid of the irrigation that's there.
We're gonna adjust the irrigation for the structure so that when it, we're planning on hopefully getting it designed by Rotary, because they have some skilled people, and then modify the irrigation around.
Make it square, too. 'cause
Yeah,
I've heard that from
that's
somebody.
exactly what I was thinking. It's hard to irrigate an oval or
Rectangles.
a circle, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, hopefully as a plan. The other thing is that it will not be overlapping with a playground, so it will be a separate,
There'll be a little gap between.
yeah, because you cannot put another play area adjacent to an existing.
But it'll be nice that.
Without
the
going with the
parents
same
can be there and
regulations.
do some kind of aerobic thing while their kids are playing.
Oh, yeah, it'll be just right next to that, so they can.
And actually,
run and
people
use
that
it.
are walking can, I've seen that at other places where they have little pieces of
Spaced out.
equipment. All right,
It would be nice eventually if we could like maybe
Exercise.
just fence in that playground. I don't know. People can leave their kids and close the gate.
Really great.
all right, so
I'll walk over and see it.
we need to make, we need a motion.
No
then?
motion needed. I'll bring
Just
that to the board
information.
next month.
All right.
It's just informational for now.
Cool.
It will require resolutions, which I'll bring.
And I got a question on the overflow. So all the costs were for the gravel and the rocks? Is that what it was?
Yeah, the gravel, the rocks, the transporting it, yeah.
And then we're going to go in between now and spring and put irrigation in there or not?
Irrigation, where?
Behind the sign, where are we going?
Behind the sign, we're looking at designing something that it's either very low irrigation.
Right.
To where it doesn't need like maybe some drought tolerant shrubs or some sort.
Right.
Or doing some kind of design with rock,
Okay, what,
multicolor or something like that.
yeah, well, that.
There were some
whoever designed
suggestions
it-
about
whoever
putting
designed the
a
two-
basket, one of those gigantic baskets on there. Which,
Whoever designed the butterfly things over at Pecan, those are really nice. So, but whatever, all right.
It is in our radar of getting that done, getting the design done.
I just wanted to, yeah, make sure it didn't fall off the table. All right, good. So let's see, now we're on to 13, 13 F, okay.
Yeah, our policy committee had met a while ago, and we wanted to finalize two policies. The first one is the smoking restrictions in the parks. And when this was brought up to the board last time, we wanted to be more specific as to where in the policy manual this will fall. And we also had, gave staff an opportunity to review the policy, make some amendments. And so this is the final draft, and we do have where in the manual this will go, and looking for the board to approve it. So we
I
can-
move we approve the revised policy titled Smoking Restrictions in Parks and Building to be included in the district's operational policies and procedures manual as policy number 23.1.9.
I second that motion.
Any further discussion on it? Then we will vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And one absent. Okay, then we're on to fire restrictions in the park.
Yep, it's pretty much the same thing. This
I
was-
move we approve the revised policy titled Fire Restrictions in Parks to be included in the district's operation policy and procedures manual as policy number 23.1.12.
I second that motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Then we will vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And one absent.
0-0.
And can we look at having some of these, the sign, I think we talked at the maintenance committee about putting more signage out so that people would be aware of the leash policy, no smoking, et cetera.
yeah, we have our park rule sign that has some of those codes.
Do we need to
on-
update it? Well, I just, if we need to update them or add them or whatever,
Yeah, well, we'll take a look and see if we don't inundate the parks with signage.
Right,
Just to see
right.
where we can add some of those rule signs.
Yeah.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, we need them out, so at least people won't plead too much ignorance.
Yeah, we can look at those and update those.
All right, H, that's committee assignments, page 58.
It's that time already. Start thinking about what committees you might want to be on, and it's going to bring this up.
And maybe send out an email in a week
Sure,
or so,
sure.
so everybody can
Reminder?
respond back to you.
Yeah. I think what we did last year, as I recall, is most everybody retained one of the committees that they're currently on,
Right.
and then tried to do some sort of a rotation after that.
Yeah, all right, well, we'll talk about that in January.
Right.
But,
Hard to believe this year's already gone by,
well,
I know, me
Went so
neither.
quick.
right?
How did that happen?
Yeah,
well, it's quite the turnaround, too.
yeah,
Like
And then back.
two separate things.
yeah, absolutely.
We had right in the middle, and we were all worried, and then it all turned out okay.
Well, we're still here.
Yeah, we're still here, and, all right, so what? So now we're on to directors, let's see, no.
Farmers
Recap.
market,
39.
Recap, we got two committee assignments. Farmers market, yeah, we asked you to do that, and then Lisa reminded us that we needed a recap, a verbal one.
yeah, I did. I spoke with Marha yesterday, and, well, first of all, this past year, the market began on May 20th and ended on October 28th. It was a solid 5 months, and it was on Thursdays from 3 to 8. The proposal that she wants to bring to us next year is start 1 month earlier, so start in April and go 6 months, still end in October.
Okay.
It was a little hard when it was got dark earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, that last month
Seemed like
was-
attendance dropped,
Is she,
and it just, for me, it just seemed too dark for me to come out.
what about
So-
doing it down below, or is that in the
Yeah,
future?
not yet, but this year, first of all, she,
Needs to connect before we do it down below.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
I do like, I can see where she wants it up on top, because it's more visible, because
I did show her that option, so that she is considering that for the future. And-
but if nothing else, when we get the lower parking lot, people can park down there and walk up,
That's true, too.
or whatever, so continue with your report.
It certainly did not meet the expectations in attendance that they were expecting, that I was expecting. I think that pretty much everybody was hoping that it would have been more popular. But the good news is she's not discouraged. You know, she wants to try again, and she's got, it was really hot, during most of those months. There was, I think, 3 or 4 Thursdays where attendance was really good, and the vendors were certainly happy. But with the heat and everything, they started losing food trucks, they started losing vendors, and it was pretty late, I think it was September by the time we moved onto the grass. But that helped a lot, and it helped for temperature, but it also helped shade. It brought everybody together, they were closer to the stage.
Right, and then they could, if they have music, they could do it up there.
It felt more, festive. And so they really like that. I'm going to talk with Horacio. I haven't had a chance yet about doing, because that turf area is going to get trampled on more. We're going to have to pay a little more attention to, probably aerating and fertilizing and reseeding to keep that nice and alive.
So the idea is,
Saying
that-
that, I'm sorry, go ahead.
is it gonna be on the grass or on the parking lot too? Is it gonna be both places, or are they, like the food trucks or whatever on?
Yeah, food trucks we're going to want on the pavement.
Trust me. Trust me.
Yeah.
I've
How
been
you
there,
know.
done that, yeah. But I was just gonna say, if you move it into April, right, then that weather policy is something we're really going to need to consider.
Mm-hmm.
You know, again, for all the events that.
Right.
The good thing is in April, it's not going to be so hot. In April and May, they may want to stay on blacktop. You know,
We can
and they want to.
implement
And
weather.
she still wants during the week, not necessarily on Thursday or...
She still wants Thursdays. Yeah, she does.
Because I drove by the Sunrise one, and it was, they moved it back, they used to be behind where the, so now it's right on Sunrise
It's been
Boulevard.
very well established for a very long time.
Right.
though. That's the difference. And I think the transition of
To me, it seemed like it
location-
was better than when it was at the Dairy Queen.
Well, people got used to
Personal opinion.
making that trip to Dairy Queen, right? You got your dinner and then you pick up your fruits and vegetables.
Right.
For me, it was frustrating. I'd come home and I'd try to get there and there was no parking.
Right.
Where I could come here and I would have plenty of parking. So I think, the first year, you're gonna learn, you're gonna get those speed bumps along the way. But for me, the October months, when it was getting so dark, was difficult for me to come out. Because that's just who I am. I feel like I should go to sleep at 5. It's so dark, but.
They did a good job stringing nice lights, and it
Yeah.
was nice. But yeah, they may want to end an hour earlier
Okay.
instead of going all the way to 8.
It was just,
And
I'm
we
glad
don't
to
ha-
hear that.
And we don't have any lighting out there that we could use anyway, right?
Just the spud lights that are there.
Okay.
And one other thing that Maha told me is they have a nonprofit that wants to set up a table for alcohol, for beer and wine. And they would do all the permitting, they would do it the right way and have an area that people can enjoy a cocktail. But, so that's something else that, might add to the atmosphere and help.
But doesn't that, maybe I'm thinking when we had Powwow days, if they had like a section, it would be sectioned off or whatever.
It would have to be.
There's different regulations for the
Yeah, I don't
farmer
know what-
markets. If there's an actual bar set up, like a beer and wine garden, that's different than farmer market alcohol tasting. There's a difference because it's considered, agricultural, for wine and beer.
So what-
So there's
are they
different types of permits, there's, different types of sampling and consumption. So, there's all
So,
that.
For what do we want? Do we want them to have like a beer garden? Is that what we want? Or,
I think that would be the most
Yeah.
popular option, that might.
well, also that we can control it more too,
Well, there's rules to controlling it, whether we control it or not.
right.
ABC has specific rules and guidelines, so I just don't know. I mean, I'm torn. I've been to both, I'm torn on the fact of whether it's a tasting or are you coming out to listen to music and having a beer.
Right.
Right? And lingering and the farmers are not getting the attention.
Right,
So, I mean, you're talking almost two different types of things here. I
right.
mean,
So, yeah, and I think I'm agreeing with you. I think let's not take away from the farmer's market
Right,
part.
and
of
I
it.
know that she's trying to add elements to bring people in, so there's difference. But I do know, like, in Auburn, at their farmer's market, they have tastings, they have the farmer market tastings, which are real popular, and then they have the trios that are out with music.
So what-
But it's not a matter of people staying a long time
So-
and really having 2 or 3 drinks, and
So what is, they taste it and then they can buy stuff to take
Yes,
home?
yes.
That makes,
Yeah.
but not particularly,
kind of like the salsa chick, you taste.
yeah.
So, so it's, I don't know what her goal is, but,
I can ask.
it's hard to determine, beer gardens to me are,
Yeah, well, I think, I'm gonna agree. I think we ought to just,
we got rid of
Trying
the
to
beer
steer-
garden at Powhatan specifically because it was a confined area.
Right.
Where people would take their children into, right? So you have to think about that as well. And you have children sitting there while adults are consuming alcohol because they can't go anywhere else.
right,
And in the fair atmosphere, that became a challenge.
Right.
Once we opened it up and then fenced the whole event, right?
Right.
Mom and dad could walk with a glass of wine while they visited booths and the kids did their thing. That changed that.
but that's kind of,
So-
that's not what.
So
we-
here you would have a beer garden where people are sitting in and having to take their children in.
Right.
you know, and then there's a lot of different elements for that to be considered.
Just let that.
No, I mean, just, I think what we're trying to say is just trying to gear it towards the farmer's market.
Yeah.
Well, and then the nonprofit has to be, you know, that's a whole nother thing with and the servers. And, I mean,
Yeah.
ABC seems to be changing quite a bit, but it's just, you know.
All right, so what about the cost for us? Did we end up having to use more dumpsters or costs?
No, the trash there, it wasn't overwhelming. Our staffing, our normal monitor, took care of things, and he was great.
Even after they shifted it over to the lawn?
They were clean, they pick
Okay.
up themselves, so.
Very responsible. Easy to work with.
Yeah.
Must have been
We
encouraging
definitely
enough
wanna
that she
keep
wants to
them
do it
there.
again,
Oh,
so.
yeah, definitely, we want to make sure. That was my reason why I wanted the report. I wanted to make sure that well, I didn't want to make sure, but I wanted to see that continue.
Well, I like it here because I think it
I do
ends up
too.
opening up the rest, people, especially in the long run when we open up the north area. More.
Love it.
All right, so if she wants to start in April, I'm guessing we'll be bringing the agreement to the board by March, so.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. So we had anybody, Arden Cripple Creek.
Yeah, the Arcade Cripple Creek Trail, the city of Citrus Heights on Monday put it up on their website, so the plans, the final draft of the plans is on their website to view. We have since put it on our website, and we sent out a cost of contact with the information, so our residents, all of our customers, have an opportunity to go view it, and from that website, you can make comments. You can make suggestions, comments, questions. They'll go to,
Specifically, did you let Peg know that,
yes, I sent her
Okay.
an email directly, yes.
and anybody, was there other people that?
There was, well, two in particular. It was Ms. Pinard and Mr. Tom DiGiacomo.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
And I sent it to both of them directly, so
okay.
they're both aware.
And then I'm planning to go with Barry on the 14th at around 3 o'clock to their office.
Correct. So is Director Mraz.
So
Yeah.
we can either meet here at 2:30 and drive over, or just meet there. We can talk later about how you want to do it, or how you guys want to do it.
Good. So, yeah, we're going to meet with the city engineer.
Cool.
She's going to
She's good.
take
We're
us
going
through
there because she has all the plans. And
Yeah,
everything.
makes sense.
And
makes sense.
I want to see an overview, but I'm more concerned about just our area.
Yeah.
Sure. Good.
All right, so then we're done with the new business. Directors and staff's comments. Melissa, anything?
I would like to just acknowledge Nadia, the staff, volunteers for the community tree lighting. It was a wonderful event, but she got a huge amount of volunteers that really helped out besides the staff, so kudos to them.
Pickleball, doing well. I mean, it gets a lot of use. The last time we had a board meeting here, which was, I guess, a week ago, when I drove home, there was somebody had parked their car on the sidewalk to the northwest corner, because there's a little,
Oh, is your gate already closed?
yeah, no, the gates were still open. I don't know if they just wanted, I looked, I didn't go back and talk to anybody, I just drove by and going, why are they, I mean, I guess it was easier or something.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we need to take a look at that.
No parking sign or something?
Well, whatever, I mean, I don't know, it seemed a little odd, and there were people playing, so, but the parking lot was still open, because I guess they don't shut that one till, that's the last one they shut, or one of the last ones?
Lights are set till 10 o'clock.
Okay. And we want to
Shut the
keep, we
gates
want to
last.
keep them open till 10
That's the
o'clock?
last part to get.
We don't want to think about cutting it back even at 9 or something, or, well, whatever, just,
It seems to be fine. There doesn't
Okay.
seem to be any complaints. And,
sometimes, well, I mean, I don't drive by that.
yeah, and
that
if there's
often.
nobody on the courts, then we'll lock the gate earlier.
Right.
you know, but.
And then the lights are set up, they have to press a button for it to run 30 minutes or whatever, how long?
Yeah,
45 minutes,
I think-
okay.
Yeah, whatever we calculate for a match,
Okay,
so.
all right. Then it looks like it gets a lot of use.
It does.
Yes.
And actually, the other one over there at,
Ipicon,
Pecan is the busiest.
yeah. That one's in use almost all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
In fact, at
And
2
Nadia-
o'clock in the morning, it was being used.
Really?
Nadia's been talking with a instructor who will be coming out in the winter, spring catalog.
get
So you
moving.
can look for that, but we will have an instructor.
classes or whatever, at both places or at?
Both.
Okay, good,
Great,
all right. Good investment.
yeah.
That might be something I take up,
Yeah.
my little bit of exercise.
We have a couple paddles and a few balls if you'd like to test it out. You can pick them up.
All right. Anything else? No, all right, Jason?
I just say, got the polar bear plunge coming around here.
All right, and then
Be there and be cold.
Your soup is great.
Horacio, you want to add anything, or?
Well, thanks to all the staff, also recreation for a good event, the Christmas tree lighting. I think there was a lot of good comments about that, and like I second what she said about staff. Nadia was all over the place and really on top of a lot of different responsibilities. So kudos to her and her staff and the volunteers. I helped out with the parking, so that went well. It's only a few minutes that everybody tries to come in and park
Right.
towards the middle of that. So
And it looked like you were having issues with the one light or something?
Yeah, the lights went out,
Yeah.
that big stand, and it took us about 10 minutes to get them back on.
Yeah, I just saw a group of people standing around it, but they were up and running, so.
So you know there's a problem.
yeah. And Merry Christmas to you all. Enjoy with your family and a Happy New Year if we don't see you.
Absolutely, thank you.
Jennifer?
Yeah, as Barry touched on, we had the audit with Larry, and he's coming back in February to give his presentation. We had only one finding this year for our segregation of duties,
Yeah, that's the one we always get, and we're
because
not.
we're such a small staff, so.
Yeah.
So that's coming up in February, and then also, we did make our last payment to City National Bank for the property back here,
So for next fiscal year, we'll have whatever that cost, what is it, $70,000 roughly?
75-ish, yes.
Yeah, but we've got,
I know, but I'm just happy, anytime
it
you can
is.
pay something off, whoop, whoop.
That's a big one, that's a big one, so,
Yeah,
So,
that's great.
so, that's good, that's about it.
Barry, anything you want to add?
Well, the tree lighting was a group event, and as far as all, the parks guys did a lot of maintenance to get it looking nice, get it set up. Jason and Danny Rodriguez with the sound system and a lot of the logistics. Nadia, of course, coordinating with staff, volunteers, and sponsors. Sponsors were huge, and she did a great job getting, most of the event paid for through sponsorships. And Orangevale's fantastic. There's, nothing like Orangevale as far as community pulling together and helping each other out. Really outstanding. And also, shout out to Orangevale Live for doing such a great job at that event and showing us in such a good light. So. But yeah, it feels good just being part of a team that pulls together like that. So, in a community. So, very happy.
Yeah, and hopefully we can figure out some of what we did this time and add it to next year.
absolutely.
We'll take 1 year, 1 month at a time, I guess.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it was really a lot going on for as long as I was here. My grandkids liked it, and they had hot dogs and popcorn.
Hey, I had a little elf
And
serving
cookies.
hot dogs, so she had a blast the whole time, but I just want to, first and foremost, please pass on my wishes for all the staff to have a wonderfully blessed holiday, Christmas season and New Year. with their families, and for all of them to be safe and to enjoy a little popcorn.
Yes,
We're excited. Thank you for leaving the gates open a little longer for the procession of holiday lights. We have almost 20 entries.
Nice.
So, and people are already planning where they're going to line up and sit and watch, so we're really excited about that. I think that's something that can definitely become a tradition. So we're excited, and of course, you know, the newspaper's getting ready to come out with the announcement of nominations for the Best of Orangevale, which is scheduled to be here
So we will have it in,
February 5th. Yes, it'll be here.
and then, or they just have a limited number, or, so I wasn't sure what the
It
rule.
is a limited number. Every year we sell out quickly, but, you know, and we have in the past couple of years, I think, we've limited the amount of tables that a business can buy so that we could get as many
Different
as
businesses.
the businesses and award
And
winners.
it's always
So-
just in the gym, it's not, they don't shift over to here?
No, we just do it in the gym. I
Okay.
do want to bring something to the communities, to the Park District and the community. They're April 30th, just, you know, keep your ears open. We are having the American River Veterans Stand Down. So Orangevale is hosting its first Veterans Stand Down. So we're hoping to reach out to 100 homeless veterans. And it will be done at the church right next to the Grange, as well as the Grange participating in that. So, I mean, that's something very special for us.
Very nice.
Yeah, but anyway, Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you
Yes,
for all your hard work.
happy
All
holidays.
right,
Definitely could not have made it through all this without you
let me
guys.
jump down to Man, you done, Lisa?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Manny?
Just for the volunteers, the parking volunteers were really good down at the thing. The only thing I would say is they need a little bit more visible light there so people could see that they're parking there. Because a lot of first-timers went by, and I saw them turn around and come back, and Hazel's not the most friendly street in the county.
The Hazel
But anyway,
Highway?
they did a great job. And the volunteers up here, the fact that it looked so busy because everybody was like rotating all over around the building. And the volunteers handing out the cookies, the ladies' clubs and stuff, ran into people I hadn't seen in 15 and 20 years, and it was kind of neat. Just, you know, it went great. It just really went great. And I don't know, just thanks to all, because you guys, people don't realize recreation is, they see the fun part and they see green grass. They don't know it's a business. And to try and explain that to people is really difficult. It's, you don't think there's stress in recreation, but there really is, you know? And so, you know, and you guys make it look like the duck on plain water, just oozing along, and down below you guys are paddling upstream as fast as you can. So for making all that stuff look smooth, you guys deserve a great thank you. I mean, it's really great seeing all that stuff. So hope you all have Feliz Navidad, Año Próspero, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, thanks. Thanks for making us look good.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
people think we do a great job as directors. We're here.
Thank you. You guys are doing awesome as usual.
All right, let's see, first we've got on the, was it the 16th, we have
Oh, I won't be
not the
able-
luncheon, but
Appreciation.
Yeah, the appreciation.
that'll be in the afternoon.
It's going to be 2:30 to 3:30. It'll be here, I think in this room.
Just what, cookies and brownies?
Third, yep.
Yep.
So
just to
sorry, I
say-
can't make it.
Oh, okay.
You won't be here?
Yeah, I won't be here.
All right.
What
Yeah,
time?
It's
Is it
2:30 to 3:30. We're
On
going
the
to have,
16th, Thursday?
on the 16th, yep. It's going to be sheet cake, and anybody who wants to bring a dessert item can. I'm sure several people will, but don't feel obligated. And
Plenty,
So
yes.
are we, the district buying some stuff, or is it?
yeah, we're buying the sheet cake, and then we also have gift bags for staff and board members. It says staff appreciation, but it's staff and board appreciation. And, yeah, so we have that. We'll have, some slides going, a brief presentation, and a couple games. So it'll be fun. It's only an hour, so we don't have
I'm
a lot
sorry,
of
I'm
time.
going to miss it.
It'll be fun.
And then, are we gonna be shut down for, in the past, Greg used to let us know.
We are.
Yeah, the 20th through, and we,
The second.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
We, a couple months ago, we,
Oh, maybe I
we
was,
went
maybe,
through- we
maybe
did
I
that,
wasn't here,
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think you were at that meeting. Yeah, you were missing that.
that was that one you were in Hawaii,
No.
Arizona.
Maybe.
Shoot, we should go to
Closed for
Hawaii.
3 weeks, right?
October 14th, yeah.
Anyway, so, yeah, so we'll be shut down for the full 2 weeks? and
Full 2
then-
weeks.
3 weeks, you were gone.
And so then, everybody, or, do they have enough time, or is it just, if they don't, they'll still be here, or?
Yeah, some staff will be here, but for the most part,
Yeah, I've got payroll in the.
yeah, there'll be people here trickling in and out. but-
All right.
Cool.
Everybody have a nice holidays. I'll be around, so right before Christmas, and then right after Christmas, I'll be back. Quick run down to San Diego. I get to drive this year.
Well, if you guys are all bored, New Year's Eve is being done at the Grange. We're transforming it into a Vegas club style
Oh.
All right,
New Year's Eve
so,
celebration. Come on down.
maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be the.
So items for
the-
next time, we got the 2 items. One is the,
Gonna bring the minutes back.
Yes. From October 14th.
yes, well,
I
that's
heard
the
that
3rd
plural
item.
that you slipped
Yeah,
in there,
and then the
Barry.
resolution for the capital improvements and a discussion about
What was that?
bond and/or LNL,
Yeah.
or a different LNL. All right, and that is what day?
The 13th of January.
January
Next
13th.
board meeting.
All right, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I
I
move
motion-
adjourned.
You got it this time.
All right,
I'll second.
all right, a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Lisa,
All
I
right.
need your signature on
Be well and be safe, everyone.
Happy holidays,
Thank you.
everyone.
Happy holidays.
One and all.